Today I'm going to talk about the chapter 3. Chapter 3 is related to the literature review, how to conduct and revise and criticize your literature review. Okay. The learning outcomes of this chapter includes how to understand and criticize the literature review. Okay. How to read the literature. Okay. What things should be included in your proposal from the literature review, and you should differ between different literature or different sources of literature, including primary, secondary, tertiary, and also able to identify the keywords, as I explained in chapter 1. Linking chapter 1, 2, and 3 together, this is the initial starting after setting your research objectives and research question. You starting your journey in doing the literature review. Okay. In addition, also how to evaluate and to find the relevance literature, and to avoid the plagiarism, copying and paste from others, and to apply the code of ethics in preparing your literature review. It's also to apply your knowledge, skills, and understanding from the initial reading as mentioned in chapter 1 and chapter 2. So why we are doing literature review? It's a starting question. ليش احنا بنعمل literature review؟ يعني خلينا نسأل السؤال هذا. Why you are doing literature review؟ ليش بنعمل الدراسات السابقة؟ عشان نتأكد من المعلومة أو يكون في شيء عندك صاير بالواقع. أوكي. تمام. تمام. نبداش من الصفر صح. If we have a new knowledge. تمام. Okay, to find the recommendations. So what it means على الفاضي? To examine whether the research question is answered or not. يعني إنه السؤال البحثي ممكن يكون تم إجابته في from the literature review. Okay. Okay, to know what's been discussed in the literature review, yes. What the opinions, okay. إيش في كمان? Okay, what the recommendations in the literature review? What the recommendations in literature review? And not starting from the scratch. وما نبداش احنا من الصفر. So as all of you mentioned, is to conduct a preliminary research or starting research. As also mentioned, to find out the ideas and to organize the ideas and put them together. And also to revise the findings from the literature, from the articles, from the journals, and also to see whether this literature is in progress or not. يعني نشوف التطور. What is the recent things being discussed in this literature? And also it helps us to generate ideas. كمان احنا بتساعدنا انه احنا نشوف افكار جديده. The more you read in the literature, the more ideas coming to your research. يعني قديش احنا بنقرا اكثر قديش بتصير في عندنا افكار لدراسات. يعني for instance اذا احنا درسنا على سبيل المثال في الديجيتال ماركتينج قرانا 10 articles, you may end with 2-3 ideas. But if you have 30 articles, you may have 10-15 ideas. and also to criticize the literature. Criticize the literature is important. إنه إحنا ننتقد literature. To see the contradictions, نشوف التناقضات، نشوف التشابهات في الليتراتشر، نشوف الاعتراضات في الليتراتشر، نشوف الديفلوبمنت في الليتراتشر، يعني how the literature is emerged, how it is developed, what is the consistency, what is the inconsistency, what is the weaknesses, what is the strength issues in the literature review. So this is a matter of criticizing the literature. يعني احنا بننتقد الليتراتشر من خلال عدة أدوات، منها إنه احنا بنشوف كيف تطور الموضوع، بنشوف التعارضات اللي صارت، التشابهات اللي صارت، مناطق القوة، مناطق الضعف في الارجيومنتس وفي الديفلوبمنتس. If you look at this slides, in this slides, it is the same in the page in chapter 3. If you open page 60, when you are revising your literature review, it's starting by research questions and objectives. I think you remember when I draw this one. Yeah, so you're starting from research question and objectives. So your research question and objective leading your literature review. يعني السؤال البحثي تبعنا بالإضافة للأهداف البحثية تبعتنا هي اللي بتقودنا في literature review. So the starting is from your literature review. Is starting from research questions and objectives. And you deconstruct or decompose your research question into sub-questions and objectives into some objectives. And from there, you can start your journey in the literature review as you observed in this chart. Then you define the parameters. The parameters of your research. For instance, what the sources of your research you would apply. What is the time frame of your research? In which research engines you are going to do the or to have the literature review. So there are many questions coming to your mind in order to articulate your journey to have the literature review. Then, after having the parameters, you are starting to conduct search. Conduct search is doing a search on getting your literature review. So before you starting, as I mentioned in the chapter 1 and chapter 2, you should have a systematic literature review. And systematic literature review, it goes in a particular steps. Starting by defining your research question, research objectives, and setting what are the sources you are going to research. ايش هي الموارد اللي احنا بدنا نستخدمها؟ هل احنا هنعتمد على كتب؟ طب وريسيرش انجنز، مين هي الريسيرش انجنز اللي احنا هنشتغل عليها؟ هل احنا you are qualified to do the research by using these research engines? Do you have some trainings? هل انه احنا كمان we get the skills in doing referencing? All of these things should be in setting the parameters of your research. If you have your textbook, there are some checklist, okay, in how you set the parameters. يعني لازم ترجعوا للكتاب وتشوفوا ايش هي البارامترز اللي لازم احنا نتبعها على اساس ان نحصل على research. Then after you conduct your research, يعني you use the research engines, or you have some textbooks, okay, or you go to the media, or revising the thesis, or consulting your supervisor, This here is conducting search. Then you obtain the literature. Okay, so it's a systematic process. It's starting by setting research, question, objectives, and then doing the research, and then obtain the literature. Obtaining the literature is considered as a raw material for your research. يعني تعتبر المادة الخام للبحث تبعكم. And it's a process of refining your literature. يعني هي بتخضع لمجموعة من العمليات والإجراءات إنه إحنا نعمل فلترة ونعمل تنقية للنتائج اللي بتطلع معنا. Let's say for instance, if you talk about digital marketing, you end up with thousands of articles. You don't need to read all of these thousands of articles. You need to refine them according to a particular criteria. And I will show you how we can refine the literature. After having this huge volume of literature, then you evaluate them. You evaluate the literature by saying, oh, this is related, this is not related, this is important, this is not important, this is related to the variable 1, this is related to variable 2, etc. It's a matter of evaluate the literature review from different perspectives. يعني احنا بنعمل تقييم، بنيجي بنقول والله هاي الدراسات هذه مهمة، هذه مش مهمة، هذه لها علاقة في variable A، هذه لها علاقة في variable B، هذه ب C، هذه لها علاقة في 2 variables، هذه لها علاقة في 3 variables، هذه لا is irrelevant، هذه ما لهاش علاقة في الموضوع and so on. Okay? Then you generate the keywords. You remember when in the first meeting or in the chapter 1 and chapter 2, when I ask you just to read the titles, and from the titles you can bring the keywords. Okay? Now you go in depth in the literature. Having these keywords and insert in the literature, you will have in-depth reading. So in the previous 2 weeks, the task was much related to the titles. But in this week and the coming weeks is much related on writing a piece of literature review from this huge of literature. Okay? يعني الأسبوعين أو 3 أسابيع السابقة كنا إحنا بس نطلع على التايتلز. وفروم ذا تايتل احنا بنقول والله this is relevant and not relevant. الاسبوع هذا والاسبوع القادم يعني you should start writing your literature, and on Tuesday I would see and evaluate whether you address the title and to let you know whether you're capable to carry on in your research or to think on different ways. Okay, let's start again. Your research questions and objectives are the leaders. يعني السؤال البحثي تبعنا هذا هم الليدرز تاعنا. Don't deviate your work from the literature, from the research questions and objectives. Deviate, you know what it means, deviate? Huh? Deviate. ما تحرفوش الليتريتشر عن research questions والobjectives. خليكوا your eyes looking at your research questions and objectives. No, this is not the research question.
عنوان بدك تعملي عليه بحث.
يعني for instance, I gave you example. For instance, what is the relationship between X and Y? What is the relationship between having digital marketing on the performance? This is for instance. Okay. What is the relationship between motivation and performance? Okay. What is the relationship between training and performance? It could be one question, and it could be sub-questions. Okay? And as I mentioned before, the research question should start by WH. How X influence on Y, or why X influence on Y. Okay? Then after you generate the keywords, start a drafting review. Start a drafting review. You are starting to write something, to put the literature together. Similar ideas in a particular context, the contradictions in a particular context, and so on. And also after doing this, something coming to your mind, and it is non-stop a process. Because as long as you are living in this universe, the literature review is immersed. يعني طالما انتم عايشين على هذا الكوكب الليتراتشر ريفيو بضلها تتطور. So it's non-stop. يعني ما بتقفش. So starting drafting, after drafting, you redefine the parameters, generate the keywords, conduct search, and till write your critical review. When you stop your writing, let's say you're writing, or you will submit your article after 3 months, or you will submit your assignment after 2 or 3 months. The research is a stop there, not now. الباحث بضله معنا ايش؟ Let's say, for instance, during your writing, some new articles coming. So you should bring this article and include it in your research. يعني وانتوا قاعدين بتشتغلوا بتعملوا writing، اجت article جديدة انعملت، وبالتالي بتاخذوها and you fit it with your research. بتحطوها في الريسيرش تبعتكم. As you see here in this circles. تمام؟ Okay. As I mentioned before, there are two approaches in the critical review. I explained deductive approach and inductive approach. خلينا نسمع منكم ايش الديدكتيف وايش هو الاندكتيف. نشوف بتراجعوا. تفضل. Okay. Yes, you are right. Okay.
It's not our level.
So what is the importance of literature review here is to build the conceptual framework. Okay? To bring the items of theory. Because the theory is available, but you don't know about it. So you have to bring the pieces of theories together. يعني خلينا ببساطة زي ما تكون عندنا احنا البازلز, like the puzzles, وهذا is disconnected, and your role is to bring them together. نحط البازلز, الitems, the pieces مع بعض, and to see the clear picture. يعني sometimes the theory is available, but you don't know whether it is available or not. So through your reading, you should bring the pieces of literature, the pieces of theory into your literature. يعني بتكون theory موجودة، ويعني زي احنا like hide and seek، بالضبط زي hide and seek، يعني زي لعبة ام الغمية. فاحنا we hide something under the table, and your role is to discover or uncover it and to bring it to your court or to your literature. But the theory is available. الثيوري ايش مالها؟ موجودة. لكن دوركم انتم في الباشا degree is to bring it from your reading of literature review. دوركم انه انتم تجيبوها من literature review. So develop a conceptual framework from the literature which is then tested using the data. وبعدين احنا بنختبرها من خلال الداتا. In the inductive we don't have the theories. ما عندناش نظرية. And generally this is not related to your level. It's related to the level of PhD and after, or postdoctorate, or the researchers. يعني انتم بالاغلب بتكونوا في المنطقه هاي في الديدكتيف. الاندكتيف when we don't have explanations for a particular business and economic issues, then we have to bring the data, and from the data we explain things. ومن خلال البيانات ممكن احنا نبدا نشتغل. For instance, على سبيل المثال, if we want to build a theory related to the sport for developments, sport for developments, because it's a unique subject and is starting to grow up. يعني بدأ ينمو هذا الموضوع sport for development. يعني نستخدم الرياضة من أجل التنمية. We throw the question, what's sport for development, or what is the mission of sport in developing communities? يعني نطرح هذا السؤال, and we have some thoughts. We bring the thoughts, the ideas here from experts. يعني we consider you as experts. من خلال الexperts نسألهم what is sport for developments. Some people talk about sport can develop the tourist, تطور السياحة. لأنه لما احنا نعمل رياضة بنعمل مباريات بين الأندية, وأندية بتيجي من برا وبتسافر أماكن بدها هوتيلز, وبالتالي هاي تورست بدهم يروحوا مثلا على البحر, بدهم يروحوا مثلا على المطاعم, بدهم يروحوا كذا, فهي tourist. Others say sport is much related to the education. Others say it's related to the infrastructure. So we bring the data from them and we categorize it. نعملها categories. These categories considered as a main pillars of theory. هدول categories هم عبارة عن الأساسات والدعامات للثيوري. After finishing this, we have the theory. So data, in building the theory, data bring the theory. But this is inductive. But in the inductive, no, the theory using the data. So it's the opposite. Deductive, testing the data. Okay? We will go in details in chapter 4 about these things. For your rule here, you should consider yourself in this area, in the deductive. Any question here? أي سؤال هاد؟ محايا حواليكم؟ في محايا, شوفوا لي محايا. أوكي. The key purposes or the key objectives of criticizing the literature review. يعني إيش الهدف إنه إحنا نعمل criticizing. Look at the first one. It's a matter of refining your research questions and research objectives. Let's see. You have this research question. When you read in literature review, your eyes on the research questions. The more you read, the more you're refining your research questions. قديش احنا بنقرأ, قديش احنا بنقدر. For instance, your question is much related to the digital marketing. And let's say performance. Then when you read, you think this is a very general question. And you want to limit this research question. You think, okay, digital marketing, including social media, for instance. Okay, say social media and performance. And you read more, you think also social media is a very large thing. You focus on Twitter. Okay, so this is the way how you refine your research questions and your research objectives. Starting from very generic question, when you read, you start to narrow down your research questions. You become more specific. So from your research question, I can examine whether you have some revision, you refine them, and to what extent you're reading, refining your research questions and objectives. Okay? So this is the idea of refining your research questions. And also to see the recommendations. Okay, the recommendations, for instance, some of recommendations telling you that the paid social media have more influence on the customer perspectives. You consider this recommendations in your articles or in your research. And the literature review helping you to avoid repetition of during your research, you find your research question is being answered. So why you are doing this research if you find it is answered. يعني ليش احنا بنعمل قاعدين الدراسة
زي اصلا
وفي ناس اصلا جاوبوها قالوا انه والله تويترز مثلا has big impact on the performance of the business, or it has a positive impact on the customer perceptions, or it has a big impact on the image of the business.
To try to develop finding new ideas, maybe it would be easier or more developed than before.
Yes, yes, you are right, and it means when you are reading, you develop your ideas. To your level, we don't mind. To your level, just remember this. To replicate or repeat the research question to your level, I don't mind. To make things simple and to carry on in your research, we don't mind to repeat your research questions. But in the MBA, you don't need, you have to develop new ideas. And you have to refine your research question. Also, the revised literature provide insight into strategies, techniques appropriate to your research objectives. When I talk about strategies, what it means here? Strategies and techniques. So yeah, what it means is strategy here. Yeah. I explained it before, yeah? Yeah, but research strategy, what it means? Yes, yes, you are right. Quantitative or qualitative. So when you are revising your literature review, it's helping you to whether you are quantitative or qualitative, and like what she said, the process, including on answering the research question. What are the procedures applied? So the here in the research strategies and techniques, what are the tools, techniques you applied? Whether you use a questionnaire, you are using interviews, focus groups, secondary data, etc. Okay? So when you are reading your literature review, you read the literature review and categorizing the literature review in different categories. يعني احنا قاعدين بنقرا اي article احنا بنعملها categorization. بنشوف الليتريتشر على ايش ركزت وهل الريسيرش كويستشن تبعنا تم اجابته. طب واذا ما تمش اجابته ايش هي الريسيرش كويستشنز اللي تبعتها هذه المؤسسه او هذا الارتيكل وكيف الاذر ريسيرش كويستشنز. يعني احنا كمان ممكن نجيب different articles and to see each article have their own research questions. We try to match between the research questions, or we can trade off between the research questions and to see which research questions is not answered. Okay? As I mentioned also in the chapter 1 and 2, your skills. Okay? Your skills is important. المهارات تبعتكم كتير مهمة. It means how you read your literature review. كيف احنا بنقرأ literature review. With whether you or you can do a precise understanding of your literature, of the keywords. Don't stop just to understand the keyword by itself. Understand the context of keywords. نفهم الكونتكست تبعتها أو السياق تبع كلمة. Can you develop a dialogue in the literature review? For instance, هل تقدر أنت تعمل dialogue في literature review؟ تمام؟ يعني إيش dialogue؟ حوار. يعني مثلا على سبيل المثال نيجي نقول مثلا لينتو إيتول كاتب اسمه لينتو إيتول said this and Abrams confirm their findings. However, Jane contradict what they said. يعني على سبيل المثال إنه فلان قال digital marketing بتأثر، الثاني قال he confirmed بس لكن جين قالت لا إنه هذا مش صحيح. And so on. This is it's like you narrate your literature review. Narrate. بتسردوا literature review and the ideas is a flow in your research. And the narrative could be related to the authors or related to the ideas. يعني ممكن احنا نعمل narrative or dialogue بين الauthors وممكن بين ideas. يعني ناخذ idea معينة ونقول فلان حكى هيك عنها وفلان أيدها لكن فلان ما أيدهاش مثلا. أو إذا كانت علاقة معينة ممكن نقول الauthor هذا ركز على هيك، الauthor الثاني ركز على شيء مشابه لكن أضاف شيء جديد. الauthor الثالث أضاف شغلة كمان غيرهم. أوكي؟ يعني مثلا نرجع للريسيرش كويستشن تبعنا. بنقول author A درس الفيسبوك وايش علاقته مثلا بالكاستمر برسبكتيفز. الكاستمر بي الاوثر بي ركز على الفيسبوك وقديش هو بيعمل ريفينيوز. الاوثر سي ركز على الفيسبوك وكيف بيستخدموا الاعلانات. الكاستمر سي قال انه كل هاي العوامل ادت الى زياده الايرادات تبعت المنشاه. So this is the debate. And this is the dialogue between the authors. And can you summarize the literature review? This is related to the reading skills. هل تقدروا يعني if you read one article, can you summarize it in 2-3 lines? هل تقدر احنا نحطها في very precise understanding for 2-3 lines ولا لا؟ So summarizing the best way to determine that you really got the points. Okay? يعني لو أنا أعطيتكم مثلا 1 article, 2, 3 articles, 10 articles. ممكن إحنا ال 10 articles نحطهم في a meaningful 1 page. نحطهم في صفحة واحدة. Okay? It's a hard job. To summarize the key ideas because I don't want everything. I don't want everything.
You wanted me?
Everything from the literature review. مش كل شيء أنا بدي إياه. You can summarize. يعني مثلا نيجي بنقول كالتالي. يعني article كلها كبيرة عريضة فيها مثلا 1500 كلمة ممكن أختصرها في 40 كلمة. أقول مثلا Lentil et al. Examine the relationship between the social media and the performance by using quantitative methods. They applied or they examine the hypothesis X, Y, Z, and they find 1, 2, 3, okay? And they recommended 1, 2, 3. That's it. So it's about 30 keywords or 30 words, including in 3 lines. So whether your reading skills capable to summarize the 3,000 words in 30 keywords, so it will be perfect. إذا أنتم قادرين هال 30 صفحة ولا هال 10 صفحات نخفضهم ل meaningful, okay, understandable 3 sentences, it will be fine. In our task and in our assignments, I will bring on Wednesday, I will bring one article and show you how this one article be summarized in 3 lines. كيف احنا article بتكون ب10 صفحات ممكن نعملها اختصار ب3 أسطر. Okay, and how we build the narrative. So on Wednesday we will be here, and I will bring some articles and show you how we can connect between them. Okay? يعني هنشوف كيف احنا ممكن نجمع بيناتهم وكيف احنا بنعمل summary للarticles. And also it's after you summarizing you can compare between the articles and authors. ممكن احنا نعمل comparing، نقارن بيناتهم، بنقول هذا لقى هيك، هذا أيده، هذا كان عكسه. Okay? So comparing and contrasting. Okay? So skills is important in effective reading. ها؟ لازم يكون عندنا شوية reading. كم واحد بدأ يقرأ؟ كم واحدة بدأت تقرأ؟ أوكي؟ 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 والله في كثير. لا good news. Good news. Okay? In your proposal, if I find good piece of work, it's a complimenting. I will compliment a student and their reading. يعني ممكن أنا أعطيهم bonuses تنضاف عندهم على الفاينل exam. يعني let's say for instance, if the mid and the proposal is 50 and final is 50, I could give you 60 out of 50. Then you owe to me, or you owe to me 10 marks. يعني أنا مديون إلك ب10 علامات. So if in final exam you have 40, so I will add up 10. You have 100.
كيف بدك تختبر قراءتك؟
Okay? You're writing. كيف؟
في مد هو أصلا.
المد هو عملي. يعني كيف عملي؟ يعني what you've done. إذا أنا اللي بدي أطمن إذا لقيت أموركم تمام، ممكن الميد term هو is a reflection of your understanding. You can do it easily.
مش هيكون في الاشياء الموجوده بالسلايد.
يعني مش هقول لك what is the literature review.
لا من
اللي اشتغلتوه انتم. How you forming the research groups. How you read the literature review. What are the research engines that you apply. Okay, how you access. What are the main keywords of use. What is your research hypothesis. بالضبط. فإذا أنتم ما عملتوش مشكلة. طيب. The most important skills. The most important skills. The most important skills. If you open page 62, there is box 3.1 checklist, which is mention you should have a pencil. When you are writing, you are marking what you write or what you read, and you can mark up margins. تطلع المارجنز تكتبوا الملاحظات تبعتكم. and you can develop your ideas and then have hearing yourself. طيب. The first things or the most important skills is to evaluate what you read. تقيم اللي انت قرأته او اللي انت قرأتيه. The capacity to evaluate what you read. For instance, and some of my students, when we have some presentation in different courses, I ask him or I ask them, please, don't open your textbook. Just talk from your heart. احكوا what you understand. Then I intervene and I correct their understanding. But the initial things, if you read this page, okay, whether you read it or not, هل أنتوا فعلا قرأتوها ولا لا? What it means? It means, can you summarize or put the this page in a particular context? It could be one line. ممكن بس سطر واحد. It's give me the full meaning of this one. Try to address the key idea of this text one. بس أعطوني ال key idea, الفكرة الرئيسية تبعت الموضوع. Okay. The capacity to relate what you read to other information. يعني بدنا نعمل علاقة بين اللي بتقروه مع معلومات أخرى. يعني مثلا لو اجينا احنا نحكي، خليكم معنا بس. مثلا نحكي على الايكونوميك امباورمنت. ايكونوميك امباورمنت اللي هو احنا ايش؟ التمكين الاقتصادي. في الايكونوميك امباورمنت we have different keywords. For instance, economic literacy and economic sufficiency. When you are reading, if you are reading this, you should link also the economic literacy with the economic sufficiency. Can you do this? بدنا نربط بين التنتين. Whether the people have economic literacy, they should have economic sufficiency. يعني الناس اللي عندهم فهم اقتصادي ممكن يكون عندهم كفاءة اقتصادية. يعني بيقدروا يديروا الأموال تبعتهم صح. Okay? Oh, and you link with other aspects because the concept is not de-linked from others. الكونسبت نفسه بيكونش مفصول عن الآخرين. Is it playing or flying with other items. بيكون هو طاير مع بعض الitems. It's like this. Okay? Okay? It's flying anything.
Okay.
It's flying in this way. يعني كل item is connected with other items. Okay? Or you can think on this way. This item is connected with this, and this with this, and so on. إذا شغلتكم إنتوا تقرأوا، قيموا، وتعملوا لينك. تعملوا إيش؟ لينك.